This is Joy Priest reading Looking for the Beautiful Things. I live in Texas now, and in the next lane over on I-10, Big Jeff is soaring at twin speed toward the dust-pending horizon. And something base and graceful has taken us over. Like if I took my hands off the wheel, we could lift into the air and become part of the indistinguishable wave of laughing gulls above. Big Jeff, says his license plate, which I first checked when I let him pass 10 miles back because his lights behind me were the second coming, or the first coming, in his case, if we're making the usual jokes about men with big trucks. But I don't want to make unbecoming jokes about Big Jeff, who is right now accompanying me down this interstate of solitude, not leaving me behind or riding my bumper, just gliding beside me as if he needs someone too, as if he trusts me, and said to himself in his blue-lit interior, "Hey, I'm gonna hang on her wing. She seems to know how to get where we're going. She's probably a Hellcat." No balls hanging from his tow bar, just Big Jeff on his pearlescent Ford Super Duty, which has a row of 3 headlights on each side, and which, I admit, I was more than annoyed by when he came up behind me like an Astrodome on wheels. But Texas is home now, and this is the way of things. Big Jeff and NASA, tacos and trucks, the only state with more guns than Kentucky, the expert at the gun range told me before I left. I am an expert at beginnings, a lone star once again, as I have been in every state I've lived, the bluegrass, the garden, the palmetto, the bay, each time hoping I'm closer to the beautiful things. About this poem. This poem came to me last year when I was driving from New Orleans back to Houston, my new home. It felt as if I'd been moving around the country, its landscapes and interstates, in isolation for a long time. Maybe since I left Kentucky in 2015. Anyways, it was Thanksgiving, and a friend's mom let me stay in her Airbnb since her scheduled guests had canceled their reservations. I'd never been to New Orleans, and I needed to get out of my apartment, which I've been in every day, alone, since June. On the way back, riding down the coastal highway, I noticed Big Jeff, the homie. We kind of ebbed and receded in speed alongside each other for 100 miles or so. I felt a good vibe. Maybe it had something to do with these generosities at a distance I've been seeing throughout the pandemic, and which had just been extended to me. Shout out to Lori, Bernardo's mom. Shout out to Community Book Center in New Orleans. Big Jeff, if you see this, come get some potato salad.
Come gather round, people, forever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept that it's soon to be drenched to the bone. And if your time to use was saving, you better start swimming, or you sink like a stone. All the times they are changing. Welcome to the Bob Dylan Birthday Bash. Happy birthday, Bob Dylan.
Yes, we'll have to finish the game tomorrow afternoon.
Tomorrow? I'm going to Mary's party tomorrow, aren't you?
A party? Why, I didn't even... No, I don't like parties.
Your name's Cindy, not Cinderella. You go to the party. You go to the party.
Wake up, Cindy. What? Who's there? I don't see anybody.
Of course you didn't. I'm not just anybody. I'm your fairy godmother.
Oh, but this isn't my very best dress.
Oh, now look. You're not going to the party to show off your clothes. But you should be clean and neat when you go to the party. Don't be too noisy or rough. And don't break things.
Gee, thanks.
Don't tease or make fun of others. Be a good loser.
Be a good winner.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dillon Box. I'm your co-host, Ryan Harsh.
And I'm Chris Leroy.
And today is a very special edition of Dillon Box. Chris, any idea why we're doing this?
I know why we're doing it, because Bob Dylan is going to be 80 years old, and so this is our little Bob mini birthday Bob Fest.
Absolutely. So happy birthday to the man. We've been doing this for quite a while now.
Yes.
And we just thought we'd take a few minutes and wish him health. He's 80 years old, and he's still going, and he just we're gonna have something coming up for all of you, so you know what he's been working on lately. But
yeah,
we have maybe something in the box this week. I don't think we have any more LPs, but you want to see what we got in there?
We do have this one. Surprisingly, it's the birthday. It's Ryan Harsh's birthday.
Oh,
So,
okay.
here's
There
you go. Birthday ball. You put
Okay,
that hat on.
thank you.
And
Wow.
from the Jolly Postman, it's
all
probably
right.
a $3.
I was like, where are we going with this?
a $3.
Oh my!
Starbucks card. So don't spend it everywhere.
I won't.
Don't.
This
blow
will
it
give me
all
half
in
a
one
cup
thing.
of something nice. Thank
So
you so
say
much.
happy
This is
birthday to
wonderful.
Ryan Harsh.
Thank
But
you.
along that line,
Okay.
here's a whole compendium of wonderful Dylan memorabilia, I guess it would be, and letters and pieces. The Bob Dylan
Beautiful edition.
scrapbook, 1956 to 1966. Notes from him putting his song together, or tickets to a show, or like there's a little stand-up thing with Dylan that you can put around your house, where he's bringing it all back home, and
You'll watch watching TV or something.
yeah, exactly.
Watch you
And
eat.
for a Bob Dylan fan to have these little snatches of things that were probably retrieved out of trash cans and whatnot, and Dylan used to get kind of mad at that.
Well, yeah, there was a thing in the 70s when he was living in New York, and he'd have a guy who came and was digging through his trash and then calling Dylan up and calling him on stuff. So, yeah, I don't think any of that is in this particular edition.
It was just makes me feel
Pretty cool
good.
book to show kids too who don't know anything about Dylan. It's just
Right.
like, check this out.
Yeah, here's this guy. Look, he wrote some songs. And what's a song?
Yeah,
There you go.
here you go.
There you go.
I think we have something else in here. I think I brought a book. This is a little bit of a different because it focuses on one particular time period. It's called $1 Million Bash. And this book, there's a lot of Dylan books that narrow it down like a lot. There's a book by the same author, I believe. It's just about Rolling Thunder.
Yeah.
in
Shelter from the
tour.
Storm.
Right. And so this one in particular is about like the before, during, and after of the Basement tapes. It's got track by track of every song they did.
Right.
So every single song they did, they provide like some background on it. A couple things I didn't know, like Levon Helm did not play on every.
Right.
Didn't play on barely almost any of it.
He wasn't in the country. He
Right.
was out touring and doing his own thing.
Cool.
There's a language and a flow and a freedom of that music that he never had before, and they never had again. Even as a touring band.
They sound like they're having a lot of fun too. Like he would be, and it wasn't. I mean, they had that pink house, but a lot of it, some of it was in that house. Some of it was in Dylan's living room. So when they recorded in the basement, he would be drinking coffee upstairs and just typing away. Some of it was nonsense. Some of it was, and the plan was to write songs for other artists. So and that did come because a lot of artists.
Mighty Quinn.
Right.
So two really interesting, fun Dylan books. If you really want to spend some time and get into probably his most fun music.
Right.
yeah, I would look at the basement tapes, and then maybe when you're sitting around, you'll just go through the scrap. But look, they're almost
Some
like
will fall out,
and you can spend a lot of time with our amazing birthday boy, Mr. Bob Dylan.
So our hats are off to you, sir. Thank you for, well, not 80 years, but, you know, quite a few years of music, like 20, not 20, 60 years. I'm saying 20, so 60 years.
Only 60.
Of you know, music, and giving us a lot to talk about. So thank you, sir.
Thank you, Bob Dylan. And now on to the show.
On to the show. Enjoy.
Which way we blow, I don't even know myself. See that train come straight down the line. Yeah, there was no fairly well. Well, how am I to know which way the wind blows? I don't even know myself. Well, I've been through the mines and I've been through the hills. I just wanna sit down for a spell.
Share with you a performer new to the Lo-Fi Lounge. His name's Eric Parks. He's going to show you When I Paint My Masterpiece of Bob Dylan. He has an album out called The Dead Be King. Parks. Thank you, my friend.
Oh, the streets of Rome, filled with rubble, ancient footprints are everywhere. You can almost think that you're seeing double on a cold, dark night on the Spanish Steps. Gotta hurry on back to my hotel room, where I got me a date with a pretty little girl from Greece. Someday everything's gonna be different when I paint my masterpiece. Oh, the hours we spent inside the Coliseum, dodging lions and wasting time. Oh, there's mighty kings of a jungle I can hardly stand to see on. Yes, it sure has been a long hard climb. Train wheel run through the back of my memory, up on a hilltop gondola. Oh, to be back in the land of Coca-Cola. And I left Rome. I landed in Brussels on a train ride so bummed that I almost cried. Crunchy man in uniform, girls pulling muscle. Everyone was there to greet me when I stepped inside. This paper man stealing candy had to be held down by a big police. Someday everything gonna be different when I paint my masterpiece. Someday everything's gonna be different when I paint my masterpiece. When I paint my masterpiece. When I paint my masterpiece.
But I want to make sure that folks, when they see this, that they take advantage and go watch Riverbomb, because it's
Yeah, watch Riverbomb.
Yeah.
I mean, even people, if you've seen Marvelous Miss Maisel and you like that,
what it looks like.
David Mullins, this is his first feature film.
Yeah.
And you could see, you look from one extreme to this modern thing. Here's a film he does. We have no money. That's just like, no money. And you can see, wow, this guy, it's visually a stunning piece of filmmaking.
Yeah.
And again, sometimes it's always, for me, it's not the amount of money that's behind something. It always becomes, is it the passion that becomes the motivating drive?
Mhm.
It's like the pendulum is swinging with its own momentum because you set it in motion. You let it go and you say, I'm not going to get in the way of it. I'm just going to let it play out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And as much as you want things always to kind of pay off,
Oh yeah.
the emotional payoff is always 100 times more than, I mean, even if you go, oh, I made $20 million, I don't think the emotional payoff can be great if it's not there. It's just the heart.
Oh yeah. The emotional payoff is probably two spots. One is when you're finished with the film, is I've completed this thought, and then it's still incomplete until it registers with a viewer. And so somewhere between these 2 points is where pure cinema lives, is where pure music lives. It's in this exchange. And so that's why I'm so glad we got to talk about and support this film, because it's pure.
It is pure.
Yeah.
It's pure filmmaking at its best. Actually.
Sure.
At its best.
I think so. So thank you, Robert Diaz, with a D.
Thanks, Chris.
Leroy.
All right, Chris, my good man. Take us back, if you would, in the time machine to September 6th, 2007, the Friday night of Camp Out. And I believe visitors to archive.org will note that there's a fine show of a band called Death of Me there, featuring you, Chris Leroy, singing, and also Bob Venom and Johnny Hickman and a cast of others, and Crumbs enjoying themselves to the sounds of the trees, which some say it sounds like it might be Bob Dylan influenced. And I can see the similarities, but Dylan actually seems a little darker than Death of Me, if you can figure. So off we go, and we'll see you last time, or next time, as it were. Thank you.
A song called The Trees. It's about the big flood. Up in the mountains and you hid away the trees. Up in the mountains where they hid away the trees. I'm looking through that clearing as far as I can see. See the white hot hill, see the river spreading show. The river splatter, man, there ain't no telling what this water's gonna do. I see the waters run to the center of town. I see the waters run through the center of town. They got no rain's coming down. See a smart chest man full by with a silver cane. Yeah, I see a smart chest man full by with a silver cane. I got this big old man, he full by with his cup of rain. And I see an old pack mule caught up in the clothesline. An old black mule, but caught up in the clothesline. The old pictures, they got left behind. An angel crying, she's sitting by the side of the road. Yeah, I see an angel crying, she's sitting by the side of the road. She says, walk with me, and we can get us heading low. Back in the mountain where they cleared away the trees. Hey, back in the mountains where they cleared away the trees. Me and my angel you planted the seed. Thank you. That's a good song. I like that. I seen a shooting star tonight, girl, and I thought of you. You were trying to break into another world, was a world that I never knew. And I guess I always wondered if you'd ever made it through. Shooting star tonight, and I thought of you. Seen a shooting star tonight, girl, I thought of me. Was I still the same? Had I ever became what you wanted me to be? But I guess I missed the mark, overstepped the line only you could see. Was a shooting star tonight, and I thought of me. Listen to the engines, listen to the bells, listen to the fire truck from hell goes rolling by, and all good people are praying. Was the last account, last time you might hear that sermon on the mount, yeah. The last radio play. Shooting star tonight, girl, it just slipped away, and tomorrow is just another lonely Sunday. I never said the thanks to you that you needed to hear me say. Was a shooting star tonight, girl, it slipped away.